So it's in this particular area right here. So this is called a false hinge. So normally when a person bends over, they're bending from the hips or the legs. Like when you pick something up heavy, they tell you to use your leg muscles, don't use your back muscles. Well, this is called a false hinge. And a lot of times people are bending over here a lot. So I always just mention that don't be bending from here if you're going to be bending over. All right. So now I'm going to come up into this cervical. I'm going to come up into this cervical area, and I'm just looking at the curvature. So I'm looking at the lines of the tissue. I'm looking at the difference between the two sides. This is the right side, so this is the masculine side, and this is the left side, so this is the feminine side. If you can see on camera, I don't know if you can see, but the lines are different. This line has a deep drop of a curve. It's very masculine, and then this line has a very artistic curve, which is more feminine. So these are the differences you're looking for as a therapist, are the differences between the two sides. So I make a line down the center and I divide it into a right and a left side. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to be doing some petrissage on the neck, that open C, close C, like we talked about earlier. So I'm pulling up on the linea alba, it's called. It's actually a aponeurosis. It's a fascial connective tissue, the ligamentum nuchae, it's called. And that ligamentum nuchae, you can see it. I've got it in my hand here. I can feel it, but it's also adhered to splenius cervicis and splenius capitis. So I want to try to shift that ligamentum nuchae. And as I'm doing that, the muscles are rolling under my fingers, and she can feel it. But that ligamentum nuchae comes up to the occipital ridge and it inserts here. So I always want to make sure that I get that occipital ridge worked as best I can from the prone position. It's actually, in my opinion, a little bit easier to work the occipital ridge in the supine position, turned over on their back. But in this case, I've got her in this position, so I'm just going to work on that. So I want to just see if I can get a little bit of space between these things. So think of this as a triangle, and I'm working the triangle. There's muscles in here called the scalenes, and the scalenes there's 3 of them, and they form a triangle, just like in math, the scalene triangle. In a scalene triangle, the sides are all different lengths, but it still forms a triangle. So in that way, in a similar way, this is also a scalene triangle. Now, in the metaphysical way, a triangle like that is considered a gateway. Okay, we'll talk about that kind of metaphysical stuff a little bit more in a later video. In this video, I'm just talking about the basic Swedish massage, but this is a really technical Swedish massage. Okay, most Swedish massage is just an hour of this kind of thing. Okay, and that's fine. So now I've done some deep work. I've worked this area, it's opened up. I want to come back to this area and work it again using petrissage. And this time I'm going to be working in another level deeper in her system. So I've pretty much cleared the surface level. And here comes, so we've done the scientific work. Now we're going to have some fun and we're going to do some art. As a therapist, it's good to keep things interesting. Sometimes I might do 20 structural integration sessions in a row, and it just gets really boring. And sometimes I just want to change it up, and that's okay. I mean, the client's not really gonna know that what why you changed it up, because you needed to refresh something and feel rejuvenated as a therapist. You don't always want to do the same things over and over. So here we go. So this is a cross fiber. I'm working across the fibers because the muscles in the back run up and down like this mostly. So this is called cross fiber friction. This is another form of pettrisage. And I'm just working my way up. I'm getting up under here on teres major, teres minor, rotator cuff muscles. Okay, so I'm doing some circular stuff here. I'm just moving around. It's not deep. It's totally surface stuff. I come back up to this. Now I came back to this. Now I'm feeling something that I didn't feel last time. Now I'm feeling this C7. I felt a real strong C7 here is subluxated. So her C7 vertebrae is pointing this way. Okay, I didn't feel that the first time around. So that's why I make 2, 3, 4, 5 levels sometimes, you know, it just depends. So I can understand that this C7 needs an adjustment. It needs a manual adjustment. So when I turn her over later in the session, I will make sure to go ahead and do that. So now I'm getting into the C7, and that is the insertion of splenius capitis, splenius cervicis. There's some fibers of the upper trapezius going on in here, and I'm feeling also scalenes. And then if I come over here and I check the very top of the scapula, what I'm feeling is for the levator scapula insertion or origin, depending on how you look at it. So I'm trying to find her levator scapula. I'm looking for hypertonicities. I found it, it's right here, but it's not hypertonic, so it's okay. So that is a good indication that what's going on with C7 is more about the muscles in the vertebral column than the muscles in the rotator cuffs. So I'm finding out information as I go. I hope everybody's staying with me and following me, and that I didn't lose you. So here I'm on the rotator cuff muscles. We call it the sits muscles. So supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres major, teres minor. And I'm following them all the way down to the deltoid insertion. Okay, and now I'm on the I've got that, and I can see that this whole rotation is coming all the way down into this arm, and it's connected to deltoid and biceps and triceps. So she's got something big going on with this whole system here. All right, the right side. So, okay. So I'm just finding these things as I go, as I work deeper and deeper and deeper. So I'm just going to take this on down, continuing with the Swedish massage. Again, I like the open C, close C. I get a lot of value out of that. I find that it works for me. I use my thumbs a lot. So this is open C, close C on triceps. Now on this part, I like to do these linear strokes. They feel good and they're effective, and they're not too hard on my body. I can do this very easily, so it's not like using your thumb or something where your thumb gets tired. This is okay. And I continue on down into the hands, and my real intent on this is to clean the dirty negative energy and stuff off of this. So I'm not really doing the massage. They think I'm doing a massage, but actually what I'm doing is cleaning them energetically. So I do that, and follow it back up. And now I might check the spine again and see how much now. Mhm. So this hypertonicity is wrapping all the way around to the front side. So this is connected to something deeper on the front, maybe diaphragm, maybe psoas, maybe iliacus. We need to turn her over and find out where this mystery leads us. So in my practice, I believe that these are all vibrations of various types of nature. So we don't look at this as a rotation or an injury. We look at this as a vibration and what is the deeper healing. So the body is the doorway into the psychological part of it. And we're going to talk about that later. All right. So time is going by. As a therapist, you're always watching the clock, especially for 60-minute massage. You should be looking at the clock all the time, every 5 minutes, So I've spent my time on the back. So I'm going to do a little check here of jostling the spinal cord, spinal column. So it's moving a little bit better. I would say at least 50%. At this point, I would take a moment to explain to the client that there are some issues going on with their shoulder girdle, and that it's probably going to take a few sessions to work this out. And we might even want to switch modalities into something like structural integration or Rolfing or neuromuscular therapy. So if they don't know about those things, this is an opportunity to explain it to them. And most of the time they agree. Yeah, I can feel it. They'll say something like, I didn't realize how bad it was until you started working on it. Yeah, I can understand that. So it's not that you're trying to sell them the massage, but you're actually trying to help them. Okay? So if you want to, you can come back, and this is another stroke of Pettrisage just to close up. Like at the end of all of your Effluarage, Pettrisage, all the work you've done at the end, just to breathe some life into them, here's how you can do it. This is called Tapotement. Okay? So you start out like, okay, so this is Effluarage. So you're doing Effluarage, but now your strokes become sort of a slap. Okay? So you're changing. Now it's a little faster. Now it goes from slapping to clapping. Now you switch from your hands to the sides of your hands. And you always want to have the good body position. So I'm using my legs to move. I'm not using my back. I'm not over her doing this. I'm totally straight. My spine is erect, and I'm using my legs to move this way and that way. Okay, so again, I'm just trying to create a little bit of movement in her ribs because they're so rotated and they're holding on for dear life. So if you just kind of do this, it indicates to the ribs, hey, there's some movement going on. And you never want to do this over the kidney. Always avoid the kidney. Never do that over the kidney. Okay, you can do it on rotator cuffs. You can do it on arms. You can do it on hands. You can do it on feet. So here's how you come out of that. So you're doing your thing. Okay, it's time to stop. So again, you slow down, and then you're back into your Effluarage. So it's a seamless transition. That's the best, most classy way that I can think of to do that.